based on the works of Karol Wyszyński. Diaries of Magic Eyes.
October 3rd, 1334, Raspberry Village. Dobrzegniew mercenary, seasoned novice. The entire team is still weighed down by the weight of losing their companion. Even Boguslawa, who has only been with us for 2 weeks, is also having a hard time dealing with Bradomir's death. I saw Boguslawa leave Plamina's room and go outside. I stood by the window and watched her sit down on a bench and just sit there. I stood there for a moment until I also left the inn and went to join her. I took a seat next to her but didn't say a word. Finally, Boguslawa broke the silence, asking how the others were doing. I answered truthfully that they were having a hard time dealing with the loss. Jarmila laments that Bradomir loved her so much that he gave his life for her. Isper, it's not any better, he lost his only brother. After that I asked what was going on with Plamina. I learned that she was feeling better, but she didn't want to say what the reason for the kidnapping was. Another awkward silence fell. We sat there looking ahead, waiting for who knows what. Before I knew it, our hands moved closer to each other. We looked into each other's eyes, the sight of her beautiful emerald eyes, as if it had lit a flame in my heart, a flame that had gone out a long time ago. We began to get closer, closer and closer, until I felt her lips on mine. I closed my eyes, letting myself be absorbed by the moment. 6 years had passed since I last felt this feeling. I opened my eyes, feeling my magic eyes activate, to see that her eyes had done the same. This sight brought me to my senses. I broke the kiss and stood up. I was filled with rage and guilt. I had betrayed the princess again. I felt even hatred for myself. Boguslawa asked in a gentle voice if something was wrong. I exploded, shouted that everything was wrong. I mentioned that I had just lost my childhood friend, that despite my attempts I could not find my beloved or possibly avenge her death, that I was soon to marry a woman I did not know, and I summed it all up by saying that the person I had trusted had lied to me and had magic eyes and was stealing my heart. I saw Boguslawa lower her head. My words must have really hurt her. She asked me if I was actually engaged, so I replied that my father had arranged this marriage. I added that I had hoped to find my beloved to prevent an unwanted wedding, but it looked like I would have no choice. She asked what had happened to my beloved. I explained that she had been kidnapped on the way to our official engagement, but the kidnappers had fallen into a trap of ordinary bandits and were murdered. This strange situation made it impossible to find her. After my explanations, Boguslawa stood up and started walking back to the inn. The whole situation made me so angry that I had to release it somehow. I saw a pile of rubble and decided to vent my anger on it. I stood up, took a swing and hit the lying stones with all my strength. There was a huge bang as the entire pile scattered in all directions. I saw that my hands were glowing sapphire just like in Twin Mountain. Then I heard a dull thud. I turned around and saw Boguslawa lying on the ground. She was not moving, and next to her was a bloody stone. My heart stopped. I ran up to check her condition. She was completely unconscious, she did not react to my calls, and blood was leaking from behind her head. I felt my eyes filling with tears. I begged her to wake up and apologized to her. I really did not want to hurt her. Suddenly I saw Isper standing over me. He helped me carry her to her room, and Jarmila went to call the doctor. The doctor diagnosed a fairly serious head injury, but not serious enough to threaten her life. He bandaged the wound and ordered her to rest. At this news I breathed a sigh of relief. I would never forgive myself if I lost another companion because of myself, especially since I involuntarily felt a connection with her. I sat down on a chair by her bed and waited, hoping she would wake up as soon as possible. In the evening, when it was already dark outside, she finally opened her eyes. I explained to her what had happened, but she interrupted me, explaining that she had a terrible headache and wanted to rest some more. I nodded and left, still worried about her.